Hello everyone and welcome back to Derek's Gaming. We are back with another Kirby and the Forgotten Land guide. We are in the final stage of the post-game content and we're going up against Forgo Leon and Morpho Knight. Yep, 2 boss battles to complete in this guide. And both of these boss encounters are quite challenging. We'll do our best in our guide to show you some tips and tricks on how to beat both of them and complete the post-game content for Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Okay, and first up will be Forgo Leon, the possessed beast. Okay, and for this encounter, we're going to choose the homing bomb ability. And this certainly will make the fight take longer, but it's an easier way to deal damage to Leon. This way, throughout the entirety of the fight, we can just keep dropping bombs that will make their way over to Leon and deal damage. And try and space out the bombs as you throw them at Leon. If you throw 2 bombs in quick succession, more than likely they will crash into each other and explode before they reach the boss. And as for Leon's attacks, well, there are quite a few of them in this fight, and you can literally outrun or dodge every single one of them. And just like this laser beam right here, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a laser beam. And remember to keep that train of bombs rolling. And you just saw 2 more laser beam attacks that we dodged rather easily. And keep in mind this is a 2-phase fight, so we will have to bring him down to 0 health once, and then he will respawn with more abilities for phase 2. Yay! And yet another laser beam attack that can be easily dodged. And as you can see, if you don't make any mistakes, you won't take damage. We make quite a few mistakes in the guide. We still do manage to beat the boss, but the strategy does remain that you can dodge almost every one of these laser attacks. And you probably already know this, but if you can string 2 of those homing bombs together, they will deal more damage when they connect. And just a few more hits to go, and then we can enter into phase 2 of the fight. And here is phase 2. So this is very similar to phase 1 with a few more deadly abilities that we will have to avoid. First is these lightning rings, which are easy to avoid. You just have to float up and fly in between the lightning bolts. And he does a charge leap attack similar to Clawreline, which can be easily dodged. Another new attack is a laser beam that destroys the ceiling and pieces of it will fall from above. Just look at the shadows and avoid the falling pieces. So at this point of the phase, we've seen all of the attacks except for one that will be coming up shortly. Avoid the lightning bolt rings, watch out for the charge attack with the claw swipe, and also the laser beam that causes the ceiling to fall from above. Okay, we're halfway home. We have Leon down to 50% health, and now we're technically in phase 3 of this fight. And now more attacks are coming our way, including this massive laser attack barrage. All of which are dodgeable, by the way, if you do it right. And then there's this giant Nova Blast. Just run to the corner of the screen. It cannot reach you when you're in the corner. And finally, we have these laser rings that we have to avoid. Just hop over them. Yep, so there's a lot going on at this point of the fight, a lot to avoid, so try and do your best. And we got ourselves into some big trouble here. We lost our homing bomb ability, so now we needed to finish the fight off using the stars. Inhale stars and shoot them back at Leon as frequently as possible. And we just had a sliver of life left at this point. Needed to inhale a couple more stars and shoot the boss. I really don't know how we beat it. But we did manage to beat it thanks to the power of those shooting stars. Whew, that was close. So was this the fastest way to beat Leon? Of course not. You could go back to the shop and get other abilities that could do more damage quicker, but using the homing bombs gives you more opportunity to focus on staying alive and avoiding all of the attacks. So we're going to stick with that as our suggestion for the ability to use to beat this fight. Okay, now it's time for the second boss encounter in Forgo Land. And it's the real final boss of the main content of the game. It is Morpho Knight. And thankfully, the Leon fight is a checkpoint, so we don't need to try and do this fight with no life. And we're going to switch abilities too anyway, so let's just die here, and then we'll go pick up a different ability to beat Morpho Knight with. And for the Morpho Knight fight, we're going to pick up the Tornado ability. In our opinion, this is hands down the best ability for this fight. It makes it super easy and actually makes it a quick fight too. So there are a couple of mechanics to watch out for here in the beginning of the fight. The first is that flame wall. Just float over to the gap so that you don't get hit by the fire. And the strategy that we use for the Morpho Knight fight is pretty simple. As Morpho Knight teleports around the stage, which he will do frequently, we can chase after him quickly with our Tornado ability. And because the Tornado ability gives us such great movement speed, we can avoid most of the ranged attacks by moving out of the way quickly. Yep, this really isn't all that complicated. Just keep spamming your tornado attack on top of Morpho Knight. Okay, here's another attack, these fire tornadoes. Just find yourself an open space in between two of them and avoid them easily. And whenever Morpho Knight does this sonic attack, your best bet is to just move out of the way and wait for the attack to end. If you tornado into it, you will get hit like we did here. Okay, we've gotten Morpho Knight down to 50% health, so we are in Phase 2, and the big change in Phase 2 is that Morpho Knight now is wielding dual giant swords. And we will just focus on continuing to deal damage with our tornado ability on Morpho Knight. Yep, just continue to avoid those attacks and deal damage with the tornado ability. And just like that, we've defeated Morpho Knight. And once the fight is over, we are rewarded with the Morpho Knight Blueprint ability. And that's really all there is to it, just making sure that we pick the right abilities for each of these boss encounters so that we can defeat them with the least amount of difficulty. And that is a wrap for this guide. We've reached the end of the main and post-game content for Kirby and the Forgotten Land. We really hope you found this guide helpful and it gives you that edge that you need to defeat these two final bosses. And if you did find this helpful, please like the video and subscribe to Derek's Gaming. We would really appreciate it. And that's all for now, folks. We will be back with a new series of videos on the DLC that came with the Switch 2 edition of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. But until then, thanks for watching, and we will see you at the next stage.